So before I go fast and furious with some more measurements, this is the same assembly, only on this piece. You can see the whole support is actually there. The other one, I guess they use that for mock-ups. They would bolt the main rotor right here on the other one, because the other one's bolted to a table. So for rebuilds, they'd throw the transmission there and then have this all basically just to support a transmission and work on it. So I'm going to take measurements of these extra dog ears that hold cowling. Like I said before, that the part to your left goes back to the tail. This would support body cowling on the back of that R22, and then it would taper upwards, and the round bubble, the firewall would be there, and the round bubble would come down out towards the front. So first one I'll get is, I'm trying to get that long dimension from the outside of that tab over to the outside of that tab. It's interesting, you don't realize how hard it is to measure something with one hand until you're trying to take a stupid video. So, bear with the retard hand. Alright, so end to end on the top side of the tube, it looks like 32. Let me reset that end over there. 32 3/4. But this has kind of a weird angle on it too. If you look at it, I'm looking pretty much square that way, but the cab actually tilts out like this, and at this point has a little bit of a curve outwards. So there's like a 1 degree kick out on the bottom, maybe 2. And then this degree is probably another, that's probably another 5 to 7 degrees that way, because the width from here to here, from here to there, as you go towards the front of the helicopter, it gets wider. I can get you that measurement too. But so that's that. On the back, this hole and this hole, they actually hold some of the body work. There'll be a flat piece of aluminum this way that the side of the cab comes up and rolls over like that and is just above this level. So this radius, there'd be a nice flat plate that has that type of radius on it that holds aluminum that skins right up to the front of the helicopter. So those tabs really aren't, the only thing they hold is some rivets that go to the bodywork. Dang, what a pain in the butt. Alright, so centered. Those tabs are 13.5 inches center to center hole. And those would be rivets that go in those holes. But they're 1/8 inch, just over a 1/16 over an 1/8 inch. So we got 1, 2, almost 3/16, just under 3/16 for the hole size. From the center of the tube out, the hole's 3/4 of an inch. That tube, by the way, which you probably were wondering when I was going to give you that one, the tube is 5/8. And then the best dimension for that tube, I'm going to say from, geez, where do I measure that? I'm going to go from the corner where this tube comes up and terminates, the very end corner right there, and give you a measurement corner there to the outside corner there. It's not going to be exactly, I guess it could be, you could use it that way, but that's like 16 inches exactly. From the outside corner of that top tube to the outside corner of the bottom flange, you can see it right there, 16 on the nose. I'm going to double check that the other side's the same. I've come up with some places on these Robinsons where they're not actually symmetrical side to side, but this is not one of those cases. That's a 16 on the nose there too. You can see on the inside of the frame right there, these little bent supports. This is actually a belt guide, between this one and this one sits a belt sheave. It's a four groove V-belt sheave that sits in here, and this is just to keep the belts from being able to back off of it enough when the sheaves are adjusted together, so they loosen the belt tensioning. Loosening the belt tensioning allows us to start our piston engine without driving the rotor system. That way there's no resistance on the engine when you start it up. And then after you get the engine started and running right, you turn on the clutch engager, and it takes the bottom or the top belt sheave and it actually slides it upward to tension the belts. It's on a screw drive. It's kind of cool. Oh, that part's not on the other one either. Right in the middle of your screen, there's another one of those tab flanges, and that'll have to get measurements for you. We're just going to turn this ass in the air. You can see that. You can see the way I've turned it. Tail drive down. Let's see here. So it's actually, there's a little bit of a degree sweep on that too. You can see, I'll try to hold the camera perfectly stable, but you can see it drops maybe 10 degrees, 7 to 10 degrees. It's like a Ford cant. Geez, it's hard to find a plane. You know what? This is the dimension you can use. From this back one to there, looks like 12 3/8 surface to surface. From that outside to the outside of that flange. Width of that flange, 2 3/4. Center to center, it is 2 inch, right about, yeah, 2 inch center to center on those holes. The holes themselves, quarter inch. Sorry, camera hold. Is that right? Yeah, the camera view makes it look like it's not, but it's right at 2 inches center to center on those holes. What else is there? Those flange holes off the center of the tube. We're going to call that, I'm sorry, off the center of the tube. It's kind of hard to call, but it looks like 1 5/16 from the center of the tube back to this hole, which runs all the way through. This is a lower bulkhead that goes between the engine, which would be down here, and the transmission up here. There's probably going to be more. There's something I'm missing. Oh yeah, jeez, that complicated flange. So this, the bottom hole on there bolts to the lower frame assembly, and then those other two are just rivet holes. That thing's kind of a pain in the ass. I'm not quite sure how you're going to plot that on there, but well, honestly, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to represent this to you well enough to plot it, because I know that you're smart enough to plot it. I don't know about my abilities trying to convey this crap, though. Jeez, here, how about this? How about we do from the center of that hole on the floor right up to 3 4/5/16. So 3 5/16 from the top of this bracket to the center of that hole, and that would be on a straight line right down this tube angle. I don't know what angle that is, but then we'll go from the center line of that hole. Actually, the bottom edge of those two holes is on center line with the large hole, and the first hole is 3/4 of an inch on center, and the second one is 1 1/4 on center from the front hole to the back hole. You can see the measurements there. And these are just little guys. These are 1/8 inch holes. And that one there is, it's a 1/4 inch hole up front. What else? There's that tab. That tab is 2 5/8 by 7/8. The holes on center are 1 7/8 apart, and they're 1/4 inch holes. I forget what that holds. Oh. Yeah. Well, there's some more measurements. Alright, talk to you later.